The Cats are 1-0 after taking down Ball State 44-14 in the season opener. As Mark Stoops says, we're not apologizing for wins, but it wasn't pretty. It was the opening week for everyone, though. The stats were a little bit of just everything felt a little clunky. Liam Coen's offense, it wasn't our best performance by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it wasn't Kentucky's best performance, and I'll tell you, Lucky, it wasn't the officials' best performance. I know we aren't going to complain about them. Kentucky had plenty of issues. But if I may,
well, let's complain about them
and not get sued this time. I usually don't talk about officiating. First of all, very nice of these guys to come call this game after they did the Bryan Station JV game this morning. Very cool of them to be here. But they took away a touchdown, an interception, and if Kenneth Horsey is out for any longer than an hour, I'm going to be livid about the blowing that whistle early on that play.
Just a bad day for the Stripes. The Zion Childress, even on top of that, the Zion Childress interception is just ridiculous.
Robert.
So that's one of my bigger takeaways today was the Mickey Mouse operation we got from the Stripes. Long reviews. They had to call a timeout because they didn't know where to spot the ball on a penalty. Ball State declines it. They say, no, we don't want to decline it, so we're going back and forth. So that was bad. And I think offensively, there were some sluggish moments.
Yes.
The passing game looked rusty. But I think Kentucky really played complementary football today. The offense finished drives, finished every scoring opportunity with points, even if they needed 3 40-plus yard field goals to get there. The defense got a goal-to-go stop from 1st and goal and 2, turned it into a turnover on downs. They forced a field goal, block a field goal, and then they forced a fumble. It turns into a 69-yard touchdown for Jalen Geiger. That when they say complementary football, that's what it means. And then you add in the special teams, like I mentioned, the block field goal, the made kicks, Barry and Brown taking one to the house where he doesn't get touched. The entire return. I think Kentucky, all 3 phases, if you have one huge takeaway from today, it should be that all 3 phases contributed positively to the game and to the win, and that was something that just didn't happen last year. So full stop, that is an improvement off of last year. The special teams looks like a weapon. The offense did some good things, even though they didn't get a lot of snaps today, only 51 plays. And the defense, takeaways, tackles for loss, something we didn't see last year. So there's a lot of good, I think, to come out of this, even though there were some sluggish moments in the middle of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, Mark Stoops was so happy with the kicking operation. He didn't even mention Barry. He spent 5 minutes talking special teams, didn't even mention Barry Brown with the house call. 2nd straight year, we've opened the season with a Barry Brown kickoff return touchdown.
How about on media day, him saying he's going to do it week 1, play this back, I'm going to get a special teams coach fired. He said that a month ago.
And they kicked it to him. Still kicked it to him. That was a mistake. It was also a mistake to try to slow down this defensive line. They were in the backfield all day. Now, they got to finish more, but they still finished with 8 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. Khalil Saunders was back there, and Trevin Wallace, he was a bad man. He was all over that field. 12 tackles, 2 for loss. That dude's playing like he can be an all-SEC talent this fall. That was a lot of fun to watch this defense in action, even though they still left some out there on the table.
Last year, a weakness getting to the quarterback. Looked pretty good there today. Last year, a weakness, some takeaways. One got robbed, but I'm not going to go back on the officials.
Yep.
Would have been nice to have that one in the end zone, but still the scoop and score. It's good to see the defense making plays. They weren't perfect by any means, but there's some things to work with there.
On Labor Day weekend at Kroger Field, the running back committee that lived a long, short life. Ray Davis struggles for over 100 yards in his debut. Busted a 30-yarder. He had another gash for 26 yards, I believe, in the second quarter.
Had a 20-yarder, too.
So
he was busting big plays.
A really good day. Like I mentioned, over 100 yards, was pretty efficient. So that was good to see.
We had some explosive plays through the air to Danke. The problem was just something felt off, whether it was guys miscommunicating on a twist, as Stoops said, receivers, quarterback off on the same route. I think some of that, they've been lighting it up all preseason long. Now is finally their opportunity, and then they just get a little bit, they're just trying to make all the plays all at once.
There was really 2 plays that stood out to me. The Barry and Brown drop on the first possession.
That's a touchdown.
Had him wide open in the flat. And then the Dane Key incompletion where they run at the end. The play just the timing looked off. I don't know if Dane was supposed to go a little farther, if Leary's supposed to have the ball more inside. Just something looked off there. And then the lack of tight end usage in the passing game was a surprise to me. So those things stuck out. But I do think you need to realize at the end of the day, like, the points per drive numbers were good. The yards per play numbers were good. Like, they did some good things, and they did that even with I think you could call a sluggish performance. I think there's a lot of good to come from that. But I think the offensive line in general, just on the first watch, just with the naked eye, pass protection was good for most of the day against a quality defensive line that I think Ball State has. And then they were able to run the ball a little bit with
Yep.
Ray Davis. So I think those are some good things to pull from. It's just they just got to work on finishing. And like you said, something was off with the passing game. Maybe it's just rust, but something they're going to have to work through.
I don't like the wild range of emotions. I loved Ray Davis running through the back door there to make us all happy, buy a little dinner tonight. But I'm just crushed over what happened to Kenneth Horsey.
Yeah.
We didn't get much of an update there, but I almost couldn't enjoy the second half just because I felt so bad when he shouldn't have been on the field. We'll find out how long he's going to be out. That was just tough to watch for a guy that's done so much for his team, a team captain, and he gets hurt like that.
New turf's a storyline. I mean, we saw a bunch of guys slipping around out there. But Cash Daniel tweeted out, get rid of the turf that causes too many lower body injuries.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Kentucky. Clayton Cole, Ball State's best player, middle linebacker, gets carted off with his leg in a cast. So he's probably done for the season too. So that was unfortunate to see.
Fingers crossed for Kenneth Horsey. They've already had one left guard go down, Ben Chrisman, Ohio State transfer. He's out for the year. Dylan Ray came in today. He had a nice crease to help Davis pop off a big run, but a couple things you might not have known. 3 stats. Kentucky did not give up a sack until the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter. That's good. Here's something you probably didn't realize. Devin Leary was 10 of 11 in the second half.
Yeah.
Actually, some of his incompletions in the first half were right in the perfect
spot.
spot.
Those third down scrambling, they looked pretty.
His accuracy, even on the incompletions.
Kentucky only ran 18 plays in the second half, so it felt a little familiar from last year, but that's what happens when you return a touchdown. You're getting defensive touchdowns. It happens. But also, last thing, defense needs to get off the field on third down.
That's what happens when you can't get off the field on third down is you only get so many plays.
Ball State was 9 of 17 on third downs, and they played 3 quarterbacks.
It had a fourth down conversion, I think, mixed in there.
Yeah.
And in the second half, when Caden Samansa, the true freshman, came in, they just had a really hard time getting off the field. Now, they buckled down and got 2 stops, the goal-to-goal stop and then the blocked field goal on their last possession. But that's a big point of emphasis, I think, moving forward, most notably their zone coverage. I mean, I think they were giving up a lot of yards when they were probably in kind of a prevent type structure. So they're going to have to work on the pass coverage, and that was a question mark coming in with the new look secondary.
Well, we're going to have to buckle down, finish up our work day. It was week 1. The biggest improvements are from week 1 to week 2. The Cats are going to do it, and so is the KSR crew right here at Kroger Field.